Ola held her stomach, getting ready to fall. She took a deep breath in, closed her eyes, and stepped forward into the darkness. Oh! Ola blinked her eyes open and looked around. She wasn't falling like before, but walking. Empty black space still surrounded her, but it felt more like walking through a giant glass corridor than the wide, inky ocean in her dream. It did feel a bit cold, though, but only where her feet stood, kind of like a concrete pavement wet with rain. But more than that, it was quiet. Ola only had what she remembered of Anansi, the Monkey King, Hanekeo, and the old tailor to keep her company. Their voices danced around her ears like echoes in a tunnel. She almost didn't notice her bedroom door floating off in the distance. She began heading towards it. But the closer she came to it, the more the memories of her adventures mixed together, becoming a little blurry and fuzzy, but definitely not gone forever. But Ola still shook her head and turned around, worried that she would forget everything that she had seen if she just went home now. She felt something push her back as she walked on into the darkness. It was the book, refusing to go back. But Ola pushed on, and then the book opened itself, and words began to appear on the page. You are at the end now. Open the door and return home. Ola frowned. It wasn't fair, she said, not wanting to listen to the book. What if I never get to go on adventures like this ever again? What if it all gets too hard to remember everything that just happened? She shut the book and marched on into the darkness, not caring about the book pushing her back. There's so many more places to visit anyways, she said to herself. So many distant lands full of adventure. Why can't I get to have more? Why can't I just get to do this forever? And the book opened itself once more, and the words appeared on the page once more. Do the same thing over and over, and even fun adventures can turn boring. Journeys like this exist to teach us something about ourselves. But what do you have to learn now that you don't already know? Behind that door is the first page to your own story, where you get to decide how it twists, turns, and ends. Look down, see your feet, how they stand solid like an oak tree. You are not falling anymore, Ola. It is time to take the next step. Ola heard a page rip itself out of the book and fly around her, carried by a whirlwind she couldn't see, hear, or feel. Another page tore itself out, and another, then another, until Ola was surrounded by flying sheets of paper. Instead of words appearing on these pages, Ola saw shapes, splotches of ink morphing into paintings without the need for a brush. The first showed a woman, older than Ola, dusting a fat slab of rock, revealing lines carved into the stone surface, symbols of a forgotten language that Ola didn't understand but wanted to. Another page saw a woman, younger, but sitting on a pile of books reaching up to the clouds. An older woman stood crying on the third page. She was dressed in black, and there was a hand on her shoulder. And the fourth stopped right in front of Ola, the ink spreading, turning thick, shiny, and glossy, reflecting her face back at her. "It's me," she said. "All of them." More pages flew out. More faces of Ola appeared. Older, still curious to know more. Whether she was a doctor, a lawyer, a butcher, a baker, a poet, or a painter. All these lives, all hers, and unique, all filled with as many moments of joy as they did heartbreak. "It's starting to make sense now," Ola thought to herself. "I mean, I could beg the book to take me somewhere new, but that would just be a story, nothing more. I need to write my own." She looked down at the book, her book, the girl who fell through the world, and said, "I don't know if you can hear me, but thanks." She hugged it, holding it close to her chest, turned around, and walked back to her bedroom door. She closed her eyes as she turned the handle, taking a deep breath in and stepping forward as the door opened. She felt the warm, soft carpet of home beneath her feet. She turned around and saw her bedroom, just as she had left it. "Ola?" It was Mum. Ola was surprised. She expected Mum to be more shocked or worried. She had been gone for weeks, but there was no change in Mum's face since the last time she saw her. "Mum!" Ola ran up to Mum and hugged her so hard she almost knocked Mum over. Hey, what is it?" "Oh, Mum, you wouldn't believe it," Ola said. "So there I was on a sandy island in the sun, and there was this spider who could turn into different people, and he kept stealing everyone's wisdom for himself and putting it into a magic pot. But he stole so much of their wisdom that his pot got too heavy, so I had to teach him something that you taught me so that he learned to share. And then there was also this monkey who was a king in the mountains, and he could also turn into a snake, and he used that to save us from these spiders. But they weren't like the same spider as before. These ones were bigger and meaner. And then he got stuck in the spider webs, so I had to blow on a horn so that the kingdom of women could come and get him out. And then I saw a man get his head cut off when I was..." Whoa, wait. Dad interrupted. "You saw who get whose head cut off?" "Dad," Ola laughed. "You should have been there. It would have been so much easier to explain that way. Like, I wanted to write it down, but..." Ola's hands twitched. The book. It was gone. She looked around, hoping it might be somewhere close, just hiding maybe. But she knew it wasn't coming back. She stopped talking after that, her bouncing excitement fizzling down into quiet sadness. "Are you okay, Ola?" Dad asked, as Mum's arms wrapped themselves around Ola and she felt a loving warmth surround her. "It's fine, it's nothing really," Ola said, starting to smile and hugging Mum back, listening to the sound of her heartbeat. "It's just nice to be home." I don't know about that," Mum said. "This sunny island you talked about sounded much nicer than here, oh." "Yeah, but you wouldn't need to worry about falling for Anansi's tricks over here, though." Mum gave Dad a confused look. silently mouthing, "Anansi? What?" But Dad just shrugged and walked over to the window. Well, at least we've got some sun over here. The streets don't even look too busy either. Can we go to the park then? Ola asked, her bouncing excitement returning just as easily as it had left. Oh, why not? Mum said with a sigh. Go and get your coat and mask. The park was mostly empty. Only a few small groups were left on the grass after the warmest part of the day was over. The blue sky was fading into the pinks and purples of sunset, and cool breezes sailed gently on the air. It had been so long since Mum, Dad, and Ola had left the flat that none of them were actually saying much, choosing instead to listen to the wind whispering around their ears. It wasn't until they got to the end of the street that Ola's voice popped up. I am really sorry about the fridge door, by the way, she said. There's nothing to apologize for, Mum said. We all get a little frustrated, stuck in the same place too long. They walked past the fence of a building site. A big cardboard sign showed Val's Vintage Clothing printed in massive bright letters. Dad kissed his teeth looking at it, then said something quietly that Ola only heard him say when he was angry. Tear down the charity shop, just to sell the same shirt at twice the price. Mum could see that he was getting a bit upset. She held his hand and smiled at him. Do you remember that dress we found there all those years ago? Dad began to smile. You mean the one that had you going, hey, look at me, Donna Karan, perfect fits, only £5.50? How did you meet each other? Ola asked. The question caught Mum and Dad by surprise. Why? Mum asked. I just realized, Ola said. I don't know anything about your stories. Dad chuckled a little. Well, it's a bit embarrassing. Ha! Mum laughed. Embarrassing for you. Well, Ola, it was years ago. In the old building. I think we moved out before you were born. But there I was, carrying my shopping to the lift, and your father was inside, and as their doors were closing, he tries to press their button to open them, but what does he do instead? I pressed the emergency stop by accident, Dad said, rolling his eyes and smiling as he remembered it. He feels so silly that he offers to carry my bags up the stairs for me. And I still felt bad about it. So I took you out to dinner, then a film, then... Dad paused, seeing Ola stop to stare at some graffiti on a brick wall. There was a monkey, a spider, a young woman, and an old man, all dressed in blue. He couldn't really make heads or tails about what the art meant, if there was some message behind it, but the way Ola had stopped, completely ignoring the park they were almost at, it was as if the graffiti was speaking to her. Mom? Dad? Ola began to ask. Do you ever get worried that you feel like you should have written something down, because even though you remember it, you know that you might forget it one day? Well, Mum said, Your grandma used to tell me stories all the time. Never read nothing from no book either. Only mouth and ear for her. Just like her mother and her mother before her. You keep a story alive by telling it. And when it's a good one, you'll want to tell it again and again. And everyone will want to hear it. Oh, hey! Dad's voice popped up as he pointed at the playground. The swings are free. Ola didn't need to be told twice. She ran up to one at top speed and sat down. By the time Dad caught up to her, Ola was already in the air, head leaning back, legs outstretched without a care. There once was a time when she was scared to push higher, scared her fingers might slip, scared of falling. But now, Ola dared to swing up to the sky. It was calling her, telling her that it was time to fly.